Hello and welcome to New India Junction. I am Richa Divedi. The Union Budget 2021 is here. To discuss various aspects of it, we have with us one of India's top tax advisors, international tax expert, and CEO and founder of Dhruva Advisors, Mr. Dinesh Kanabar. Welcome to NIJ, Dinesh.
Hi, thank you, Richa.
So, diving into the discussion, what do you think about the budget from the taxation point of view? A budget that has decided not to tinker with tax rates. What kind of message does it send out?
And I'm really glad that the finance minister has proved all the naysayers wrong because directionally, what this budget does is to say we are going to expand the economy. The expansion of the economy will result in higher taxable income, and higher taxable income results in higher taxes. We don't need to raise the rates of taxes. And if a foreign investor was looking at it, a foreign investor would come back and say, here is a country which is communicating stability, even at a point of time when there is COVID. So without bothering about just increasing resources, they want to be on a path which is the right path. So I would very much welcome the budget.
So it seems there has been no change in the slab rate, and people were expecting to get some sort of tax relief either in the slab or in the investments. But the government has put aside a huge amount for infrastructure and healthcare and all the other sectors. Will common taxpayers end up with more money in their hands?
Yes and no. So again, there was expectation and a demand that basic exemption rate be revised. There was a demand that the standard deduction for salary people be revised, and all of that could have left some more income. And there is, of course, a lot to say that if more income is left in the hands of, I think the government just took a decision in principle that we are going to spend money on capex, we are going to spend money on healthcare, we are going to do whatever it takes, and we are going to raise money from privatization. Tax rates are just going to be the same, which is absolutely fair enough. The higher income which will come to people will not be on account of the budget measures, but because the economy itself will go up. And when the economy expands, it leaves higher income in the hands of people. So I think it's a very right approach.
So can you say that this is the most positively received budget in the last decade?
It becomes very odious, Richa, to compare different budgets. They're presented at different points of time, and each budget brings its own things. But I would say among the budgets that I have seen, this is certainly one of the very positive budgets with everything to comment for it.
So, looking at some of the reforms that the finance minister proposed, so something like the faceless income tax appellate tribunal, which is the faceless ITAT. So, apart from ease of compliance, how do you interpret such a push for reforms?
Richa, even more than the faceless tribunal, I'll come to that in a minute. There are some very radical reforms which are really breathtaking. So let me tell you first that it takes certain time to complete an assessment. Given the fact that assessments are now happening electronically, that time has been reduced to 9 months from the end of the year. Absolutely a welcome step. More important, there was this whole perception that in India, things are always lingering, they never come to an end. So if you get an assessment order, it can be reopened for a period of 6 years. So people come back and say, but what's the fun of an assessment order which can be reopened? That 6 years has been reduced to 3 years. All of these are very radical steps. In fact, if you would have asked the most optimist people who would think about what radical changes you want, you won't find this. So this is very welcome. Coming to faceless tribunal, Richa, in principle, I welcome it, but there are two or three caveats. Sometimes, as we say, that you should run to walk before you start running. So I think we have just started with faceless assessments, gone on to faceless commissioner appeals. I would have actually wanted the government maybe to wait for a year to see how things are being rolled out before you go to faceless income tax. I'm not against it. In fact, I'm all for the reform. But I said you should learn to walk before you start running. That said, given the fact that today most judgments are available electronically, etc., this is going to be a very step in the right direction. There are some questions, Richa, again, and I don't want to be too technical here, as to whether the law guarantees you a personal hearing and whether an electronic hearing is sufficient. Is this constitutional, not constitutional? And I'm sure there'll be challenges to it. But as a reform, I would very much welcome it.
So, can you say Tax terrorism, a term that is often used. Can you say that tax terrorism is now finally over in India?
I would say that ease of compliance has increased radically, not just increased. I would say that Richa, as you know, India has been trying very, very hard to go up on the ease of doing business index. We were at 144 and we have now come down to 50s. I think the one item which has been pulling India down in ease of doing business really is taxes. And with whatever has come about, so for example, lots of things, tax audit limits have been increased, GST has been abolished. All of those are very welcome reforms and will sort of promote ease of doing business. The reason I might not go as far as to venture to say terrorism is dead is for two reasons. First is the government has been looking at this old overhanging arching thing on retrospective taxes. And I would have wished that the finance minister would have been bold enough to bite the bullet and kill the Vodafone and the Kane Energy issue, because these are relics of the past government. Sure, the current government has not been making retrospective amendments, but what is the whole point in allowing the overhang of the past? You have not collected anything, but you are suffering for it. So that's one thing. And second, Richa, when you speak about tax terrorism, it is not about law. I think directionally, everything that the finance minister has done is to overcome tax terrorism. It is more in the way the law is implemented. I think there are still some gaps out there. I'm sure the mindset of the officers will change over a period of time. I'm sure technology, faceless will allow that to happen, but we are in the right direction.
So how do you view the transparency in declaring fiscal deficit numbers?
Um, again, it's a very interesting question. First, the numbers have been put right on the table. The government is taking credit for transparency, and I would agree with that. My concern, Richa, is that you have budgeted 1,75,000 crores on account of disinvestment. You have budgeted monies on account of REITs and InvITs on toll roads. Somewhere along the line, it's not about transparency, but it's about implementation. The number of new steps that have been taken in this budget, if the implementation happens as is envisaged, we would be entering a new era. I just hope that the implementation happens. So, for example, take disinvestment. We have been slipping on targets year after year after. There are reasons. And I'm not blaming the government for that, but there are reasons why we are unable to reach the disinvestment target. But we have a very, very ambitious target. So the heart is in the right place. The question is, will you be able to implement? And if we do, that would have been great.
So before we end this, I would like to ask you, if you had a one line message for the finance minister and the prime minister, what would it be?
I would only say execute on your vision. This is a great visionary state document. Absolutely, everybody would agree with it. Execute on it, and we have everything going for it. We'll have economy which is rocking. 11% is not at all ambitious. We could go even beyond that. We just need to execute on this vision.
All right. Thank you so much, Dinesh Ji, for joining us. That was a lovely interview. For everybody watching us, keep watching NIJ.